Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit. Today we'll talk about a topic called ATF. So this is the fourth sessions of ATF we are talking here. So basically what we are going to cover today. So last sessions what we discussed that how we can take what is the basic of ATF, and then secondly we talk about that how we can order a catalog item from a platform view. Thirdly we talk about that how we can order a catalog item from the service portal. Today we'll talk about that how we can validate a form. So once either you submit the form from portal or either you submitted from your native view, it will generate a request and other item. That's the expected behavior. And then after generating the request, we will validate few things. The first thing is that requested for will be the current user, and then opened by will be the the current user. So these two will be a set and a request label. And if I scroll down, there will be one RITM, and as per our case, the RITM should have one approval. So those are the things we'll validate. And if you talk about the RITM validation, in the RITM, the state will be the open state, and then yeah, that are the things we are going to validate as part of that validation. So let's get started. So in the last sessions, we talked about that we created these managed knowledge ownership groups from group portal. So these are the things are created so far. So here we are ordering the catalog item, and then here we are opening the existing catalog item. Right now, what we'll do, we'll validate certain things. So I'll click add steps here, and then if you see in the forms, you have two forms. One is the forms which is for native view, another forms in the service portal view. So let's check that. So in this case, we already talked about that open existing form, so which is opening the request. So what we'll do, we will fields value validation we'll do first. So what we'll do, we'll click the next fields value validation. Now what we are going to do, we are going to validate that it is actually whoever is opening the request that have the proper value or not. So here first on the request level, on the request level what we are going to validate, we are going to validate the request for and then open by is the current user or not. So for that we'll select here request for, and then what we are expecting that requested for should be the first user which we are actually using, and then next we are going to validate that opened by that is also the current user or not. So that step is done. So where you can validate that the actual this value is present or not in your request. Now next thing is that you have to go to the RITM and then validate that RITM value and then approval. So how we can go back to the RITM? So request, from the request you cannot directly go to the RITM, right? So what you have to do, you have to click add steps here, and then here you have your options called server. So server is what servers can do multiple things. It can create, it can query, it can insert, update, a lot of things it can be done. Our case we are going to query and then click next. So what query we are going to do, we are going to query to the RITM table, and then where the request equal to current request number. So what we'll do here, instead of request table we are going to query to the RITM table. So this is our RITM table, and then here we should put the condition, the query condition. So here we are putting the request, and then request, in this request we are putting this order catalog item and then record ID. So this way it can query to the RITM. So in these steps you can see, these steps we are ordering the catalog item, and then this will return me the request number. We are opening to the request table, and then we are validating, and then finally we are querying to the RITM table. Now I have to open a existing record like this, and this time we'll pass this value. So let's do that. I'll click add step here, and then here form, open existing records and click next. And this time we will select that the here record equal to query record, whatever record it will be query. Okay. And if you see here, as we are dealing with normal, not the portal view, it is showing that form UI is standard UI. Okay. Otherwise, you can open the agent workspace also. So next, we'll just submit that. So it will open that existing RITM, and now whatever things we are going to validate, we can validate that. So let's see in the RITM, we'll say that state is open or not. So these things will be validated, and then stage is read only or not. These two things will validate. So click here, and then we'll add step, and this time we will say that field value validation, and then we'll check that state equal to 1 or not. So state is open or not. So this value will this validation will do that, and then we'll check that stage is read only or not. So let's do that. So I'll click add steps here, and then here you can see the form. You have a options called field state validation. Click next here, like the way we are doing for the catalog item. And here our case, you can say that set that all the visible, but not visible. I am just doing that stage is read only or not. So we'll do that. Read only, I'll set the stage is read only or not. Okay. Now our expected behavior is that so this is done, so it will validate that requested item. Next, our expected behavior is that it will generate a approval, and then approver for will be our as per the workflow last time we talked that the item will generate approval. So we'll check that approval is generated or not. So for the approval, what we have to do, we had to do the same step, add two steps here. We have to go to the server, and then we have to do the query, click next. So we are going to query the sys approval table for approval. So let's do that. So if I click here, sys approval table, and then here approval for, and in this case approval for is our the first query which is going to do that. This is for the on the RITM. So we'll select that first query. So this will return me the approvals, and then we'll put the state equal to requested state. So whatever state will be requested will we'll query that record. So it will be query that record only. So this way it can be open to the sys approval record. Now, when the approval will be generated, so let's open an existing catalog item where approval will be generated, and that time we have to be approved. So if I go back to the my approvals, in this case here, if I open this, this might be one of the approvals. So the approval will be record will be open, and then it has to be someone have to be click the approve button, and then it has to be approved. So let's try to do that. So what we'll do, we'll add one more steps here, open a existing record, and then this time we are opening that sys approval table, right? So sys approval table, and the record is the latest query record, the step number 14. So this way it will be open the sys approval record, and then finally it will click that approve button. So far we'll do this one. So I'll add step here, and then form. If you see here in the form, we'll talk about what are the things are available. So first it will in the form we can open a new form, we can open existing form. So the existing form we are using, if you want to create a new record, you can do the open a form. Set fields value is that if you want to set some value in the fields, you can do that. Fields value validation, where you can validate that value is that field have some value, this kind of value or not. We already using the last steps. Then state validation, we can check that read only or not. So in the UI action visibility, we can check that that UI action is visible or not. So our case, we are going to use the UI action visibility first, and then we are checking that approve button is visible or not. So we'll do that. So visible here, and we'll click the approve button is visible or not. So I can see there is a two approve button. We have to be make sure that we are correctly choose. So this is the approve button. I'll right click here and get the CSID of this UI action, and then this UI action we are going to use in our script or in our steps. So we are going to put the CSID equal to this one. So this approve button will be visible or not. We have to be make sure. Once that is visible, you can put definitely the negative scenario. So this UI action is visible. We have already going to validate that, and then we'll click the UI action. So if you see in the form, so we discuss about the UI action visibility. Now you can click the modal button. You can click the UI action. You can submit the form. So we are going to click a UI action called approve so that the record can be approved. So let's see that. So we'll click that, this approve button. So we'll just sysid equal to that same sysid and then run, and then this button should be clicked. So once it is clicked, we have to be select a certain type. So at a certain type, we will form submitted to the server. So when somebody click on that, the whatever action it needs to be there, it should be done. Now we'll quickly run the ATF and see how it works. And definitely once it is approved, as per our workflow, might be it can create a task or whatever thing. So we'll validate those after that. So let's run this test and see how it is working. So I'll click run test here. It will open a runner here, and which will be start running. So now you can see that it is query and open the RITM record quickly, and then it is checking that the state is open or not, and the stage field is read only or not. So those everything will be as per expected. So here it will be fail because you can see that UI action is not visible because I am impersonating right now ITL user, and it goes to that militia pinner. So it will be fail. So if I open that, this UI action visibility and then UI action is fail. And if I see it is rollback. So whenever the ATF will be done, if any, after executing whatever record or item, whatever will be created, will be reverted back. So let's close this one, and then because we created we impersonate that ITL user, and then ITL by ITL user, we open the we query that record, and then we open the record. So in between 14 we have to be impersonate that whoever is the approver. So after 14, what I'll do, I'll add a steps here, and then here I'll click all, and then here you can search the impersonate, and then click next, and this time I will add after 14 next, and the 14 I have to be select a user. What user will do that? So whatever record we are going to query, we have to be select that user. So here one challenges we are facing, that we cannot we cannot that approve button, because we cannot impersonate that user who have Here is one challenge that we cannot impersonate that user who have the app, who is the approver. For that, we need to be write some extra script. We'll talk in the further, but here I can do in the last after 14 step. I'll impersonate a admin user and then I'll approve that for the testing purpose. So I'll add a steps here and then impersonate a user, and then after line number 14 I will, or maybe line number 13, I'll create a user called admin user. So let's say I'll put my name here, system administrator. I'll select this user and then we'll see that how it is working. So I'll simply click run test and click the run. Everything will be, I will skip that before approval part. So it will be remain as it is till the point of the approval. So now you can see that it's just impersonate as a my name as a system administrator, and then approve and reject button is available. So they simply click the approve button and then your approval record will be approved. So you can see the request is approved. That way it is working as per our design, because we cannot select that user. And now if I go back to the workflow, it is successfully executed and roll out. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. If you like my video, please hit the like button and share with your community. Thank you very much. Have a great day.